April 15th is not just another day. It is the beginning of a quiet unraveling that is already moving through you. You may not have words for it yet, but something inside you knows. You are standing between who you have been and who you are becoming, and the space between is where everything feels uncertain. This is not random. This is the final 48 hours before a powerful reset, and it has already begun to touch your thoughts, your emotions, your sense of self. You are meant to feel this. You are meant to see this. There is a strange silence that has begun to form within you, and it does not feel like the kind of silence you once knew. It is not peaceful in the way you expected. It is deeper, heavier, almost as if something inside you has stepped back and is watching instead of reacting. You may notice it in the small moments of your day. Conversations that once pulled emotion from you now feel distant. Situations that would have stirred a response now pass through you without resistance. Even your own thoughts seem quieter, as if the inner voice you relied on has softened or withdrawn. At first, this can feel unsettling. You may wonder if something is wrong, if you are losing your connection, if you are becoming disconnected from yourself or from others. You might try to fill the silence with distractions, with noise, with anything that brings back the familiar sense of engagement, but nothing quite reaches you in the same way. It feels like you are present, yet slightly removed, as if you are observing your life from just beyond its edges. This is not emptiness. This is not disconnection. This is your spirit creating space. You are not withdrawing because something is broken. You are withdrawing because something is ending. The version of you that once reacted, attached, and identified with everything around you is gently stepping aside. It is not being taken from you. It is dissolving because it no longer matches who you are becoming. And in its place, there must first be silence. This silence is a sign of heightened awareness. It means you are no longer fully anchored in the old patterns that once defined you. You are beginning to sense yourself beyond them. This is what happens when your energy starts to shift inward, when your awareness begins to detach from the surface of your life and move towards something deeper, something more real. And this is why it is happening now, because you're in the final hours before the reset. The waning phase of this cycle is not loud. It does not announce itself with clarity or direction. It moves quietly, dissolving what no longer belongs, softening your attachments, loosening your grip on identities that cannot follow you forward. And the first thing it takes is the noise. You are being guided into stillness so that you can release without resistance. If everything remained loud, reactive, and emotionally charged, you would hold on. You would fight to keep what feels familiar. But in this silence, there is nothing to hold. There is only space. And in that space, letting go becomes natural. So if you feel quiet in a way you cannot explain, if your inner world feels distant and still, understand this. You are not losing yourself. You are meeting the part of you that exists beyond the noise. And in this silence, the old version of you is gently fading, making way for something that has been waiting for you all along. This is the calm before your transformation speaks. There is a kind of uncertainty that has begun to surround you, and it does not behave like ordinary confusion. It is not simply about not knowing what to do. It is deeper than that. It feels like the ground beneath your identity is no longer as solid as it once was. Decisions that used to feel obvious now feel suspended. Paths that once felt clear now seem to blur the moment you try to focus on them. You may notice this in your daily life in subtle but persistent ways. You begin something, then stop, unsure why. You think about the future, but the images do not form the way they used to. Even your sense of direction feels different, as if you are being held in place, not by force, but by something unseen that will not let you move forward too quickly. This can feel frustrating. You may question yourself. You may wonder why your clarity has faded, why your certainty has dissolved, why everything feels paused when you expected momentum. You may even feel like you are falling behind, like something is wrong because you cannot define what comes next. But this uncertainty is not confusion. This uncertainty is separation. You are being gently separated from the version of your life that was built on who you used to be. The plans you made, the expectations you carried, the direction you believed in were all shaped by an identity that is now dissolving. And as that identity fades, so does the structure it created. You cannot see the next path clearly because it does not belong to the old version of you. And this is why it is happening now, because you're standing in the final space before the reset, where the old has already loosened its hold, but the new has not yet fully arrived. This is the threshold. This is the moment where everything feels suspended between what was and what will be. Energetically, this is a powerful form of protection. If you could see the new path too early, you would try to approach it with old patterns. You would bring the same habits, the same expectations, the same identity into something that requires a completely different version of you. So instead, the vision is softened, the clarity is withheld, not to confuse you, but to transform you. You are being asked to exist without certainty so that you can release your dependence on it. This is what it means to become energetically aware. It is the ability to remain present even when you cannot define what is happening. It is the willingness to trust that something is unfolding beneath the surface, even when your mind cannot grasp it. And as the coming reset draws closer, this feeling intensifies, because the closer you move to the moment of renewal, the less the old structures can hold you. They begin to dissolve more rapidly, more completely, until there is nothing left to stand on but your own inner presence. So if everything feels uncertain, if your direction feels unclear, if your sense of control feels like it is slipping away, understand this. You are not lost. You are being guided through the exact space where transformation becomes real. And in this uncertainty, something far more aligned is quietly preparing to take its place. This is where your new path begins to form, even before you can see it. There is a quiet distance growing between you and certain people, places, and patterns, and it may feel as if it is happening without your permission. You look at familiar faces, familiar routines, even familiar conversations, and something inside you no longer responds in the same way. It is not that you no longer care, it is that the connection feels thinner, almost as if an invisible thread has begun to loosen. You may notice it in the way you withdraw from conversations that once held your attention, the way you choose silence instead of engagement, the way certain environments feel heavier than before, even if nothing outwardly has changed. There is a subtle pulling away, not dramatic, not forceful, but undeniable. It feels like you are present, yet no longer fully part of what surrounds you. This can bring a quiet sadness, a feeling that something is slipping, that connections are fading, that you are becoming distant in ways you did not intend. You may question yourself, wondering if you are changing too much, if you are losing something important, if you are becoming disconnected from the world you once belonged to. But this distance is not loss. This distance is alignment. You are not pulling away because something has gone wrong. You are pulling away because your energy no longer matches what it once did. The frequency you are holding is shifting. And as it shifts, it can no longer fully anchor into spaces that were built for who you used to be. This is one of the most delicate parts of transformation, because it does not announce itself clearly. It does not give you a clean ending or a defined separation. Instead, it slowly changes how you feel, how you respond, how you connect, until one day you realize that you are no longer standing where you once stood. And this is why it is happening now. because you are in the final hours before the reset. The waning phase you are moving through is designed to gently untangle you from everything that cannot move forward with you, not by force, but by resonance. What no longer aligns simply begins to feel distant, and through that feeling, you begin to release. You are being repositioned, not by external circumstances, but by your own energetic evolution. You are being guided away from what cannot support your next phase, even if you do not yet know what that phase looks like. And this guidance does not always feel comfortable. Sometimes it feels like separation. Sometimes it feels like loneliness, but it is neither. It is preparation, because the space that is being created through this distance is not meant to remain empty. It is meant to be filled with connections, environments, and experiences that reflect who you are becoming, not who you have been. So, if you feel yourself pulling away, if certain people or places no longer resonate the way they once did, if you find yourself choosing solitude over familiarity, understand this. You are not abandoning your life. You are being realigned with it. And in this quiet separation, you are being placed exactly where your next beginning can find you. There is a heaviness that has settled into your body, and it does not feel like ordinary tiredness. It is deeper, more persistent, as if your energy is being drawn inward rather than outward. You may wake up feeling as though you have not fully rested, even after sleep. You may find yourself needing more time alone, more stillness, more moments where you can simply exist without being asked to engage. In your daily life, this can show up in quiet but undeniable ways. Tasks that once felt simple now require more effort. Conversations can feel draining even when they are gentle. Your body may ask you to slow down, to pause, to withdraw, even when your mind tries to push forward. There is a pull toward rest that does not feel optional, almost as if something within you is asking to be protected. At times, this can feel frustrating. You may question your strength. You may wonder why your energy feels lower when you thought you should be moving forward. You may even feel a sense of guilt, as if you are not doing enough, not keeping up, not maintaining the pace you once could. But this heaviness is not weakness. This heaviness is integration. You are not becoming less capable, you are becoming more aligned. And in order for that alignment to take place, your system must slow down enough to process what is being released and what is being formed. You are carrying the closing of one identity and the preparation of another at the same time. And this requires energy, not the kind that is visible in action, but the kind that works quietly beneath the surface, reorganizing your inner world. This is what happens in the final phase before a reset. As the waning cycle reaches its end, your energy is naturally drawn inward. The external world becomes less important, less engaging, because your inner world is undergoing a deep clearing. Old patterns, old emotions, old attachments are being processed and released, and your body responds by asking for stillness. This is not something you need to resist. It is something you are meant to honor. Because if you force yourself to move at the old pace, you interrupt the process that is preparing you for what is coming. You delay the integration. You create tension where there is meant to be flow. Your fatigue is not a sign that you are falling behind. It is a sign that you are being recalibrated. And as the coming reset approaches, this feeling may deepen. You may feel an even stronger need to withdraw, to rest, and to disconnect from external demands. This is because the closer you move to the moment of renewal, the more your energy must gather within you. You are being prepared to step into something new. And preparation does not always look like movement. Sometimes it looks like stillness. Sometimes it looks like quiet. Sometimes it looks like rest. So if your body is asking you to slow down, if you feel a heaviness you cannot explain, If you find yourself needing space more than usual, understand this. You are not losing your energy. You are conserving it for who you are about to become. And in this stillness, your new self is quietly taking form. There is something new forming within you, and you may not fully recognize it yet. It does not arrive with noise or sudden clarity. It begins as a subtle shift, a quiet knowing that something is different, even if you cannot explain what that difference is. Beneath the uncertainty, beneath the silence, beneath the distance and the fatigue, there is a presence that was not there before. You may notice it in fleeting moments, a calm that appears where there would once have been reaction, a sense of detachment that no longer feels unsettling but natural, a quiet confidence that does not need to prove itself, that simply exists without effort. It is subtle, almost easy to overlook, but it is real, and it is growing. At the same time, you may feel a tension between this emerging presence and the remnants of who you used to be. Old thoughts may try to return, old patterns may attempt to reestablish themselves. There can be moments where you feel pulled backward, where familiarity tries to reclaim you, where the old identity reaches out one last time. This can feel confusing. You may wonder why, after everything you have been feeling, parts of the old still appear. You may question whether you have truly changed, whether this transformation is real, whether you are moving forward or simply circling back. But this is not a reversal, this is the final release. As you approach the reset, the old identity does not disappear all at once. It surfaces in fragments, in echoes, in brief returns that allow you to see it clearly one last time. Not so that you can return to it, but so that you can recognize that you no longer belong to it. This is how completion happens. You are being given the awareness to choose differently, not through force, but through recognition. What once felt like you now feels separate. What once defined you now feels distant. And in that distance, you are able to let go without resistance. This is the moment where transformation becomes undeniable, because you are no longer trying to change. You are already changed. And this is why it is all leading to what is about to happen. Because the reset that is coming is not creating a new you from nothing. It is revealing the version of you that has been forming beneath the surface, waiting for the old to fully dissolve. This is why everything had to slow down. This is why everything had to feel uncertain. This is why everything had to quiet, separate, and withdraw. So that when the moment arrives, you are not stepping into something unfamiliar, you are stepping into yourself. And as this final phase completes, you may begin to feel a gentle sense of readiness, not urgency, not pressure, but a quiet openness, a willingness to move forward without needing to control what comes next. This is the sign that you have reached the threshold. So if you feel something new within you, even if it is faint, even if it is still forming, trust it, because this is not the beginning of something external. This is the emergence of who you are always meant to become, and when the reset arrives, you will not need to search for your path. You will recognize it because it will feel like you.